Hello aqua friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole and today I have this loose style buttercup landscape for you. So I previously masked out the foreground butterflies and let that dry before we start the wet on wet. I'm starting with a wet on wet background. So wet your paper first, and I'm putting in some of my warmer tones, some of the browns that I see, and then switching to my sap green. For the yellow, I decided to use the ISO Yellow Deep, a very warm yellow, along with some of the greens in my palette. So while everything is nice and wet, these drops of yellow that we're dropping in for the flowers are going to be very soft and out of focus. I'm adding some more of the green foliage around my yellow. Our paper is still wet, and I'm dropping in some of this nice, beautiful jewel tone yellows. This ISO Yellow Deep is definitely one of my favorite yellows to use. My second layer is adding in some of the mid-tones of the foliage, all the grass blades, and I will add some of the buttercups as well. When I was a child, the buttercups grew wild in Canada, in northern Ontario where I grew up, and it used to be a thing when us kids would pick the buttercups and we would hold it under our chin, and if there was a reflection of yellow on our skin, it was said that you love butter. So I must have had a lot of reflection of yellow on my skin because I love butter. So we are getting some hard edges by having these mid-tone buttercups along with our green grass and the foliage. And this is adding dimension to our painting. For the most part, I am using a 8 black silver brush and a calligraphy brush for these blades of grass. I recently started using this calligraphy brush and I absolutely love it. It holds a lot more water than a rigger brush, so I could paint longer, but I can get very thin lines with it as well. And they're very cheap. It is natural fibers, and so far I've had no problems with them shutting. So this is like a very impressionistic looking little painting. The beautiful yellows really have me excited about the summer months coming up. We're already at the beginning of June. It's exciting. My garden is growing. So right here, I decided I needed a little warm brown to kind of balance out the composition. Because as you can see, I have some on the left-hand side and in the middle. I felt like I needed a little bit on the right-hand side as well. So after taking off the masking fluid and letting everything dry, of course, then taking off the masking fluid, I am putting in a very bright yellow for these foreground buttercups. I just love that word, buttercup. With a darker yellow, I am dropping in some warmer yellows just to get a little more detail, trying to show the individual petals. So I'm finishing off the painting with a few more darker stems and leaves. That left-hand leaf is pretty dark, and so again I'm trying to balance my composition and just add a little bit more green in that foreground just to balance it out a little bit better. But this was super fun. It's, you know, carefree, not very stressful because everything's so loose. I hope you give it a try and let me know what you think in the comments.